Welcome to Human Design Powered Business. I'm Victoria Gibson, and every week I am sharing how you can harness your human design to unlock more flow, leverage, and opportunity within your business. So let's dive in. Hello, I've got something different for you in today's episode. I wanted to step through Taylor Swift's business success codes from her human design to show you how they drive a powerful high affinity brand and feed into money-making launch strategies as well. Like off the back of her Life of a Showgirl album launch, which is kind of hard to get away from. And I'm sure even before that, the Eras tour and just seeing her personal brand go from strength to strength. I wanted to dive into her human design and really have a look at how that is aligned to the success that she is having right now and how she's built upon that success too with her amazing branding and marketing know-how and nous. I knew it would be in there somewhere. And I wanted to kind of break that down in relation to the success codes that I've created from the human design system. So I've taken what I know of the human design system, some of those elements and placements within your design, and then pulled those into laying out 6 success codes that form the path to your solution, that message, that offer, that completely aligned positioning for your business that allows you to have more effortless success, that allows you to activate the profit potential within your business and just create a whole lot more flow. Of course, with any business, there's ups and downs. There's going to be things that you try, things that work and things that don't. But this is like having a roadmap and a guide to follow as you make those choices within your business, as you look to pivot, as you look to evolve your business, as you look to streamline elements of it with less burnout, with less overwhelm, and without all that over efforting. So look, I'm, full disclosure here, I am a Taylor Swift fan. I've always really liked her music and liked her marketing, her branding, the way she's fostered such a powerful brand. And it just got me thinking, I'd really like to have a look. Now that I have this structure, I wanted to see what was in her success codes and how it contributes to the success that she has created. So I hope you enjoy this kind of format. If you do and you want more, or you want me to have a look into someone else, I'd be more than happy to do that. But I've got a few names listed that I might go to next because I found it a lot of fun and really, really interesting too. I hope you find the same. Because her most recent album launch, The Life of a Showgirl, sold 3.5 million copies in the first 5 days. It was also on top of the Billboard charts and the box office at the same time because she created a cinema launch around the album launch. She sold those copies of special editions of these vinyl records. She's really amazing at creating a whole movement around one offer. And this is sort of the way we want to be thinking as thought leaders, as coaches, as creators, as consultants, wherever you fit on the spectrum of creating transformation for your clients. You want to be following these opportunities within your genius, within your human design to make things flow, to make your value resonate, and for you to understand what your purpose is in terms of your business. Because when we find that, that is what leads us to activating our profit potential. And really, that's what your solution is all about. So let's break down how she's leveraged her success codes from her human design. Now, a quick caveat here is that her exact time of birth is not confirmed online. I'm dying to know. I even went down a rabbit hole of watching this breakdown of the Karma video because in it, actually, it's so cool. I would love to do that on a reel, actually, break all that down. She's got all these references to astrology and symbolism within astrology through that Karma video, which is very cool. So someone had even broken down from an astrological perspective of when her time of birth would be from that video and signs within that video. And there's all this conjecture, right? She must have a Scorpio rising. I'm not an astrologist, but I really was interested in looking more at her human design and seeing
what elements she's likely to be, because there's a lot of change within the day that she was born. She could be say a projector, manifesting generator, or a manifester. But if we look at everything in totality and look at what's popular in the Reddit threads, I'm picking the time of 11 a.m. for her for the purposes of this podcast. And this seems to check out, particularly in relation to these success codes. So I just wanted to let you know that's what I'm running with. I don't have her time of birth confirmed, but I'm going to run with it because it feels pretty accurate to me. In introducing the human design success codes that I use to give you that path to activate your potential and find your solution, there are 6 of these that are going to help guide you to your own effortless success in business, to your own high affinity brand and amazing aligned offers that just allow you to just flow so much more in your business. So they all bring you to your solution, which is your high frequency message, offer, and the brand strategy that sets you apart in a saturated market, revealing your unique magnetic essence that guides you out of any confusion and burnout to a place of unshakable belief in yourself and the opportunity to grow your profits from your purpose. These success codes aren't a dogma. They are an opportunity for you to find your uniqueness and your differentiation within your design. So it's perfectly tailored to you, which is beautiful. It's not about forcing strategies that feel wrong. It's about aligning your voice with your purpose, and your business becomes a reflection of your highest potential. This is what's going to light you up from the inside out while delivering success without burnout. So let's start with the first success code. I like to call it your path code. And in fact, all 6 codes are the path to your solution, but the first is really that anchoring into your purpose. And we look to your life theme or incarnation cross here. This really is the foundation of your purpose. It's an invitation for you to live into your purpose. It's the success code that reveals your life purpose and the work you're here to do to live out your purpose. It's really the invitation to show you the way to your purpose. But obviously, human design is very nuanced and there is lots of other details and impacts. But for the purposes of using the success codes, we want to try and keep it as simple as possible. So your path code really guides the way and defines what that purpose is. It shows you why you're here, how you're uniquely designed to make your mark, and the essence of how you can live out your highest potential without forcing yourself into following someone else's business blueprint. So let's have a look at Taylor Swift's path code. Hers is a life theme of confrontation. And with this life theme, it talks about having the energy to confront rulership and impose rulership of your own. So it's like that energy where you're not afraid to stand up for what is right. And it has a bit of a hard edge because you're here to take on people of power who ought to be questioned. And this energy is designed to be provocative because from provocation comes justification. And with the justification comes information to get a deeper understanding of what people are about and what they stand for. So her energy is confrontational and has the purpose of helping us get to the bottom of things. And Taylor's path code drives her to challenge power structures and question authority. Not for conflict's sake, but for deeper truth. And in her career, we have seen this energy where she's not afraid to stand up to the likes of Kanye West or Scooter Braun when she's had the battle over those music rights being sold to him and her not even getting a chance to bid on them and how wrong that was. Her then going and re-recording her music and now just recently buying it back. She took on the established music industry and brought a lot of awareness to that and was able to champion her own cause and get her audience and her followers, the Swifties, behind her in that. And when I look at the Book of Destinies by Chetan Parkin, he runs through all of the life themes or incarnation cross descriptions in there. It's really useful just for getting an initial sense of your purpose. And in her theme, she has the interpersonal life theme of confrontation. And it says your life theme is to take a leadership role in situations that need change. You have an inner drive to be in charge, particularly on the material plane. So we're going to see a lot of this weave into Taylor Swift's success codes and the enormous wealth that she's amassed as one of the most profitable multi-billion-dollar personal brands there is. You can see this woven through her success codes, and I'll point them out to you as we get to them. She has, within this life theme, a great ability to teach others how things should be done and an ability to dramatically change any limiting circumstances confronting yourself and others. So that is definitely something that she has embraced within her career and her brand and her launches. She's not afraid to say, hey, this is how things should be, and this is where I'm taking things. And it says here, the force of your willpower can be intense enough to change any situation that you encounter and bring substantial material benefits to people living in limiting circumstances. You have the means to assist people to take charge of their lives in ways that bring about significant growth because you can recognize where they're stuck in old patterns and traditions. That is so Taylor, and especially with her conscious sun in gate 26, she has the ability to change people's perceptions about anything. And we know that no matter what time of day Taylor's born, she does have a conscious sun in gate 26. So that also gives her a knack for managing situations in ingenious ways that are impossible for others to ignore. And if you don't get your needs met immediately, you might play on other people's emotions until you do. Think about the lyrics of her songs. All her romance and relationship dramas played out through her music, right? It's just a core part of her brand and really gets talked about. This launch is absolutely something that nobody could ignore, and the amount of hype, anticipation, engagement around it is just absolutely huge. So when we move to the second success code, which is the program code, we know that your program code is about your type in human design. So this is something that's quite regularly referred to in human design, and probably if you've just done a chart, you know your type, whether you are a manifestor, a manifesting generator, a generator, projector, or a reflector. So there's 5 types, and this is largely what informs your program code, along with the strategy that goes with your type and the desired emotions and not self emotions. So really your type is like that vehicle that you're going to get in, and when you harness that energy correctly and you follow your strategy, this is a very simplistic view. There's more detail. That's why we've got the success codes, so that you can bring human design to light in a more practical sense and a more holistic sense than just following your type. But make no mistake, knowing your type and following your strategy for your type is already a revelation. But we like to apply all the success codes to get the biggest advantage, particularly in business. Consensus points to Taylor as a projector, thriving on recognition and guiding others' energy. Her aura will attract invitations, making her launches magnetic. And she waits for the right moment, like releasing The Life of a Showgirl after the high and the hype of the Eras tour. And as a projector, she reads energy well, leading through wisdom, not force. So when projectors understand and remember that their strategy for life is to wait until you are recognized and invited by someone else or something else, they will have more opportunities for success and fulfillment. It's common for projectors to feel the urge to jump in and help others without an invitation, but this can make people reject their help or advice and leave them feeling really bitter, undervalued, and unappreciated. Now, we've probably seen that even in terms of some of her previous versions of her career and some of her songs where, a lot of that kind of bitterness has come out, a lot of that kind of revenge feeling or, kind of having a go at other people or working through her relationships in some of her songs too. And in fact, that's where a lot of people were coming with the timing of her birth, thinking that she's definitely got that sort of revenge element within her astrology. But I think human design gives us so much more dimension than astrology, but hey, I'm just biased. So now, when we move to the third success code is her personality code. And that's really informed by her profile. So if we choose the time that we have at the moment, Taylor is a 5-2 profile. So I definitely think she has a 5 in her profile because there's a lot of that projection that comes onto her and a lot of that influence too. And 5-2 is interesting because 5, she could also be a 5-1, but if we're just we're going with 11 a.m. for the purposes of the success code. She's a 5-2. But I would suggest she definitely has a 5 in her profile regardless. And a 2 sort of makes more sense than a 5-1 in some ways, because the 2 is the natural, and it also withdraws at times too. It needs that independence and that time away. And it's like she sort of has that. Like, she'll come for these moments where she's there, and then she comes back and she retreats, and then she's back out again. And even with the eras to it, like, she wasn't doing back-to-back dates. She was taking time. She would go for a 3-day, 4-day show or a 2-day show, whatever it is. And, I was lucky enough to see her Eras tour here in Melbourne with, I think there was like 95,000 people, and she performed the whole time for 3.5 hours without a break. It was amazing. It was really the most amazing concert I'd ever been to. And I've been to Michael Jackson, I've been to Madonna, I've been to the Rolling Stones, I've been to some of the icons of concerts, Adele, and this was just beyond anything I had seen, and I absolutely loved it. The atmosphere there, that was the other thing, like the way she has cultivated her brand so that you can actually feel that within the audience is amazing. We're going to talk a little bit to that as well. So if she is the 5-2, it means her launches spread ideas widely, but she needs to retreat for that me time to process all the projections that come with her line 5 energy. Because those projections create pressure, yet it also draws people magnetically. But this balances visibility with inner peace, and she can attract prosperity without overwhelm when she takes that time off. So that's what I was trying to mention before, but I got off on a tangent about her doing the intense dates on the Eras, but then she'd have like a couple of months off. Then she'd go, to another continent. And she was even creating an album while she was doing that, 2 albums it seemed over those 2 years. So that is perfect for her program code and her personality code here. And more on the personality code, with the 5-2 profile, you're here to serve humanity, backed by a big altruistic heart, and making things better is just the obvious choice for you. That's your gift. Because it's so easy for you to help others and lift them up, it can be hard to believe the fact that there's a real vulnerability to you. So that we can see in her music too, where, just listen to All Too Well, the re-record of that, the 10-minute version or 15-minute version, whatever it became. There's so much of like, I'm here waiting for you, like I'm like a soldier returning from war after being in this relationship with you. That's what draws her audience to her, because you feel it. You understand her struggles and what she's fighting for and the causes that she champions. I love that about her as well. And it also, a 5-2 can be prone to questioning themselves a lot. And that's one of their challenges and ultimately what they're here to overcome. And I think arguably you can see that even over the last 5 years of her brand, where she's questioning herself less since Folklore and the pandemic, or the 2020-21, around that time, coming out of even that. And she just seems to be so much more sure of herself, even before this relationship with Travis Kelce. So another element with her personality code, it says, before others discover your genius, you have to discover it yourself first and put it out there. You mustn't expect the world to discover your talent, or you will only want to detach and withdraw if it's not recognised. That kind of feeds into the projector thing too. She needed to wait for recognition and invitation, sure, but she didn't sit around even when she was younger and this was her dream. She didn't sit around and wait. She got her parents to move to Nashville. They got a recording contract. I think her dad had to pay to get that rolling, right? Like, she was driving a lot of that, but I think that there would have been that element of her parents inviting her into that and having that recognition of her talent and then her desire to move forward. And I think that that's why it would have worked well. But that also might be why some of those early phases didn't work as well for her if she was trying to push as a projector with her program code. But back to her personality code, with the line 5 in her personality code, she is a brilliant fixer and solver, but she's also subject to those projections that we talk about, the projection field of a line 5. And the projections of people believing you are the answer, that you have got the solutions, whether that's right or not, and getting very, very disappointed if they don't live up to those projections, right? So that does create a bit of pressure, especially if there's too many of them. And we've seen that throughout her career too, but she's definitely not in that phase right now. She is trusting herself so much more. And we can just see that effortless success just building on itself, flowing and flowing and flowing. And it's quite amazing to watch. And I think that that's the goal for all of us, to get to that place where we're trusting ourselves more. We're not afraid to share ourselves and the missteps and the moments of vulnerability, and like still allow us to not get downtrodden by it, not get taken out by that, still be able to trust ourselves to step into our higher purpose, right? Because especially a 5-2, it's important that they don't throw in the towel. They need to keep going because they're here to be a hero. Like, they're a real hero, like, kind of like the hero's journey. This is what heals them and other people. And we see this with Taylor so much. Such an inspiration to be able to see those moments of ups and downs and that real hero's journey. Right? She's living that, absolutely. And it's only served to strengthen her brand. Now, if we get to the fourth success code, it's about the power code. And this is, your power code leads you to the wisdom within. But more than that, it gives you a fail-safe guide to always be able to make the right decision and choices for you, free from expectation and external influences. Because when you understand and follow your authority, you start operating from authentic power. And this builds radical self-trust, especially when you use it together with your program strategy and following your profile, the role you're here to play, which is in that personality code. Really, the three of those are that sort of foundational triad for success and living into your human design and reaching your highest potential. So your defined centers and the channels that connect them in human design, that's what gives you your what's called definition. And it's really about revealing your incredible gifts for inspiration, communication, and transformation. While those areas that are more open in your life chart, you don't need to know all of this right now because the success codes will map those out for you. But your undefined open centers show you precisely where your greatest wisdom and profit potential lay. Now, Taylor has splenic authority. So her spleen center in human design is her authority. This is what really powers a lot of what she relies on in terms of her energy, her influence, her character, her superpowers, if you will, as well as the channels that light up her definition. They really are the bones of your energy type and what makes you a projector or a manifestor or a manifesting generator, etc. Okay? So Taylor's power comes from splenic authority. Splenic authority is all about trusting instincts in the moment for the right decisions for you to survive. It's about health and well-being and survival. That's really what that center represents. But it's really instinctive intuition at the heart of it. And her channels, she's got 2838, the channel of struggle for perseverance, the 2644, the channel of surrender, which is all about persuasion. She's also got the 1858, the channel of judgment, which is about creating better ways of doing things. So, you know, we think about her personal brand and some of these launches, persevering through re-recording albums and music despite hardship, getting through the projections of the whole stoush she had with Kanye West and everything that was getting projected onto her after that. Given what he did to her, I mean, that's just insane. Like him interrupting a young girl's VMAs speech for winning the album and saying that Beyonce should have won it. Such a line 5 energy, those moments, right? But she was able to move through it. She senses opportunities. She still needs to rest when she's in flow, right? That's part of her personality code and her program code. But she listens to her instinctive nudges. You can see she does. She's paying attention to that. And even writing her lyrics and her explaining how she pulls some of these songs together, she definitely does that there. And she channels the struggle that's in that channel of struggle wisely. She fights for her vision. She surrenders to timing and she will rest to avoid burnout. So if we go deeper here and look at her definition in relation to her marketing and branding genius and how this comes to light in a lot of her success and that prosperity that she's creating in this amazingly profitable brand that does look at this point in time effortless. I know it's obviously not, but you can see it's so much more effortless than what a traditional recording artist is experiencing right now. She owns her music. She has had the highest grossing tour ever. She is just breaking records everywhere. She has absolutely unearthed the hidden gold within her design, and there's a lot of challenge in her design, but she's able to unearth the leverage, and that's what we all have within our design. There's going to be moments of challenge, but awareness helps us get through that, and that's what I love about having the success codes there to map that out. So if we look at her splenic authority, we see, like I said, instinctive intuition, the voice that comes from that spleen center in human design. It's not rational. You can't make sense of it. And in fact, it's only going to trip you up when you try and put it through the filter of your mind, because your intuitive hits are how your purpose speaks to you directly. It moves fast and bypasses the mind to tell you what is right in any given moment. It doesn't last long. You need to act on it quickly. So you don't want to miss these either. And if you can't act on them, then basically journal them, write them down, use them for later, because the mind can try and override the spleen, and this is where you lose power. Because when we know your power code and what your authority is, it's going to shape so much of what you decide to do in your business and how you make the right decision every time. But with splenic authority, the hits it gives you come and go quickly. So you want to tune in and respond to it. It also means you can trust in your quick decision making and prosper. Not everybody has this opportunity, especially if you have emotional authority. But if we think about Taylor launching Folklore in the pandemic, or The Life of a Showgirl seemingly very quickly after Tortured Poets Department, and on the back of the success of the Eras Tour, this is about quick decisions and running with it and seeing that be very, very successful. So with her Folklore album, during the pandemic, like she was about to go on a tour and obviously couldn't. So she was like, great, I'm going to write a whole new album. And it was like, I'm going to go to this log cabin because that was where they could work and where she could be and produce it. So she just adapted to what was happening in that environment at the time and was still able to have commercial success with that. So let's look at her channels, where really the strongest kind of traits and characters, where her strengths lay, like her reliable strengths. They're very much a part of who she is, and you could call it, her superpowers, her strengths, those things that can be relied upon, but can also be seen by your audience and the people that you're here to call in to. Her strongest is, no surprise, the channel of struggle. She has gate 28 and gate 38, which make this channel up twice each in her design. It's characterized by perseverance and finding purpose through struggle. Struggle is inevitable, but it's struggle for the sake of everybody, not to be used to turn in on yourself. It's a bit of a warrior mentality, justice seeker, a fighter element, and it's about wanting to follow your own path instead of taking the easy way, even if it seems extremely hard. And it's normal for those with this channel to recognize that life sometimes feels like a constant battle, but it's a battle for brilliance. It's a battle for better. It doesn't have to be a battle that is all defeating. So her life, it is an archetypal hero's journey against overwhelming odds. And we see that, like I mentioned before. The goal here is for her to remain herself and go her own way, no matter what anyone else thinks or says. And you can see her embracing that so much more. But even when she was still maybe less sure of herself, she was still doing that. This is really the I did it my way mentality. These people love a good fight and they're here to hone themselves on life. They're also here to stand up for themselves and consequently often have to do it alone. They're the ones that like that dog with the bone. They ain't going to give up. My daughter has this, and she has this in part of her life path. And I see it. I'm always like, Ava, you're so relentlessly fighting to fight the cause, but you need to understand these people are going to have that spirit about them. And the purpose of that is that they give direction to society and can be of enormous value in empowering others. Their great strength is that determination and stubbornness. They're not going to give up on something that holds meaning for them. So then we go to that second channel for her, the channel of surrender, the 2644. Now, this channel is about persuasion and presenting ideas or products in such a way they can easily be sold. Like, hello, has she not got this down pat? It's about community, business, and material success. So she's embracing this element of her power key beautifully. Now, the key energies of this channel is about tribal circuitry. If you know human design, you'll know what that means, but you don't need to understand that to know that it has a close alignment with an entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial flair, very much around that kind of sales and marketing mastery influence, but it needs to have trust in there. That can be the shadow where trust gets put to the side and, that sales and manipulation can come up as a shadow. So you definitely need to have that trust driving it there, trust-driven communication, because success comes with this channel for Taylor when she embodies her role as master influencer. And is there another more master influencer than her? Naturally gifted at marketing and selling. This is about knowing how to present ideas to build trust and desire. And that 26 in this channel is her conscious sun. So it's a biggest expression of who she is and the work she's here to do and the brand she's here to have. So think about her pre-launch marketing for this launch and the last one, building much anticipation around those album drop dates, like, right, hey, Life of a Showgirl's coming on this day, like there were going to be launch parties. Same with Tortured Poets department, where she announced that even in her Grammy acceptance speech. Like, she knows how to get the word out there and how to create amazing marketing around all the launches that she does. And really the essence of part of this channel is to get paid more for doing less. And who doesn't want that? So we can all have access to this energy, even if it's not lit up within our human design, within the transits too. So when that comes in, if you don't have this, then this can be a really great one to harness in the world of business. And I'm moving more into mine. Mine's actually in my personality or conscious north node. The channel of surrender also has the energy of a strategic storyteller. Oh, her and her lyrics, right? It's skilled in creating persuasive stories that align with what the audience values. This really drives so much of her success. Think about all the Easter eggs that she puts in those videos and that the audience talk about. She's a strategic storyteller for sure. And trust-based selling works really well here. She has this mastered, along with her emotional storytelling. Her lyrics and launching all embody this brilliantly. And even think about the first release on The Life of a Showgirl, The Fate of Ophelia, and the story around that, borrowing from Shakespeare and her being the daughter in Hamlet, and that she was relegated up into that room full of scorpions never to have love, and relating that to herself, and that Travis saved her from that. Like, it's the art of storytelling in music, and that is very much Gate 20. And then we also see that Taylor has a third channel, the 1858, the channel of judgment, which has a design of insatiability. You'd think she could sort of rest on her laurels now, but she is still moving forward, going ahead. She's not resting on her laurels. She is insatiable when it comes to getting her art out there, getting her creative expression out there, and taking advantage of the attention and awareness and engagement that she has right now. Now, you don't want to do that to the point of burnout, but because she's leveraging these elements in her success codes, this is a lot more effortless. It's not about hustle and grind. She has times for rest. She is able to magnify the elements that are already working for her, and that's what you leveraging, and that's what leveraging your human design. That's what leveraging your human design success codes is all about. But with the channel of judgment, these people are perfectionists. They're logical people who are here to bring judgment in order to improve things for the sake of the whole. They're insatiable in their energy to improve, but the trick for Taylor here is to realize that her drive to find perfection is designed to be in service for everybody else, not to get bogged down in that in her own personal life. That might also explain a lot of that chasing the perfect relationship and all of that kind of thing. But when she can harness that and use that in her music and help others through the same struggle, that's where things just open up and success comes to her naturally. So also for them, when they don't have anything to challenge, then their sense of being dissatisfied can turn itself inwards on themselves or their friends or family. So they need to have that channel to focus on others, not themselves, not turn it against themselves. That can be true of a lot of channels in human design, by the way. Now, we come to the profit code, which is the 5th success code. This one, I actually have 6 cash flow keys that make up your profit code. Because this is where we see how you're naturally wired to profit and prosper from your purpose. But in activating that profit potential, I wanted to give people 6 particular keys within that profit code and within their design that they can utilize to activate that with less effort, but see more consistent cash flow coming in and what really influences that. So the 6 cash flow keys within your profit code highlight and activate your money-making abilities and instincts from your human design. If we talk about Taylor's calling key, I mentioned this briefly before, and we talked about her gate 26 a lot, but that this is where we see, her life's work, her personal brand. This is the domain of that. And I've called that your calling key. And it's the energy you're designed to share and express. It's the core of your brand identity that powers your messaging, marketing, and offers. Your calling key reveals how you naturally show up in business and how people immediately recognize your gifts. It's the magnetic frequency that draws your ideal clients to you without force or manipulation. And Taylor harnesses her willpower here because this is where her calling key is in her willpower center or will center, the ego center, the heart center, it's often called, right? It's about accomplishment with a hard edge for questioning power. And we mentioned that as well. It's about leveraging and manipulating light or attention for profit. Right? This in the Gene Keys, Richard Rudd talks about this being about a path towards artfulness, leveraging her love and all the interest in her relationship to launch this whole record. That is pure calling key in action with that willpower just to get it out there, especially so soon after she'd already released like a double album last year. Amazing. So then we go to her client key. This is where you can find your ideal audience, the right people for you, okay? And for her, it is gate 13, the hero of secrets, right? Your client key shows you the leadership energy you're here to embody and where your ideal clients are, what their evolution or their journey is and what they're seeking. So it kind of almost in a lot of ways just maps out your niche for you. And when your offers and messaging align with this directional force, you become the bridge between where your clients are and where they're meant to go. This key ensures your business grows in service of your purpose. So Taylor's client key of gate 13 is characterized by the energy of an empathetic listener, fostering friendliness and optimism, seeking the best in everyone. That's so much a part of what she's really fostered with this community of Swifties, right? You see it. She used to even have invite them to her house before the albums were launched, obviously when she was a lot smaller. The community and the spirit she embraces it's about the spirit and the atmosphere and engagement she embraces even on her tours through these launch processes, even by having this film release by who's releasing an album via the cinema. Everywhere she goes, she's open to collecting stories, and this is what draws her clients to her. This is where we see the Easter egg element again, right? Where she puts these little secrets and stories that her fans are always trying to figure out. This is very much part of her client key. Her brand and launches build fellowship. Think about the friendship bracelets. Like I said, the watch parties in the cinemas, always creating community. And this attracts a wide audience, right? But this is why she has so many fans and why they're so drawn to her, because they feel part of something. This is branding 101 as well, and it's amazing. So third cash flow key within the profit code is the communication key, and hers is gate 58, about joyous vitality. This key unlocks your unique communication style and reveals both the shadow patterns that may block your expression and the higher frequency that empowers you to speak with authenticity, authority, and have that unshakable belief in your voice and what you're here to express. When activated, your communication key becomes your secret weapon for creating messaging that resonates deeply and converts effortlessly. It's really the driver of your brand voice, your content themes and expression too. Now, her communication key is about joy and vitality, challenging norms playfully. Her launches, like the surprise drops, spark excitement and also have an element of, wanting things to be better, right? There's that element within that channel of judgment to correct things too, but this 58 is about having the joy, and that is what she shares, particularly in this launch, more so than Tortured Poets Department, right? Even in Tortured Poets Department, where, that was obviously a lot about her going through her significant breakup previous to meeting Travis, but she still managed to inject that joy into it and get her audience to rally behind her. Because Gate 58 can be about challenging authority for the joy of challenge. And she has a line 6 in this gate too. So that's also about being the authority. So she easily engages other people's attention and involvement. And her natural excitement and joyous nature triggers the mood of those around her and should be infused in all her offers and content. And I think this is why Life of a Showgirl is going to be even bigger than ever before, because it has this really joyful, playful element to it that we haven't seen from her in a long time. Now, the connection key within your profit code, the foundational energy for how you contribute to your community, how you create a culture within your audience. But it's also where you look to find partnerships, collaborations, and build that, like I said, culture around your brand. This influence naturally attracts aligned partnerships, speaking opportunities, and collaborative growth that expands your reach and impact, okay? And Taylor's connection key, her cash flow, this is one of her cash flow keys within the profit code. So when we get to the profit code, this is where we unlock all these cash flow keys. Your connection key points to how you can deliver your offers too, so that you don't burn out, so that you don't fall into creating offers that drain you. So when Taylor stays in the energy of her gate 52, which is the gate of stillness, it's often called the mountain, and it's about wisdom in stillness, like being a mountaintop observer. Her launches will draw from that quiet insight that she obviously takes while she's writing and creating. She is sitting on that mountain and waiting for aligned opportunities and understanding how she can observe her audience and her community and opportunities below, right? So these people with Gate 52 here have deep staying power as long as they can find the right outlet through which they can be of service, which Taylor has definitely found. So I can't imagine that we'll see her going anywhere anytime soon. This is, an amazing element for her to have as part of her connection code. And people do look up to her and have that. She's got that element of being sitting up there, and she can not be as disturbed, but be sitting down surveying everybody, loving her launches and loving her work. Then we go to the consistency code, which is a place that you can go to and rely on, some of your inherent strengths. For her, this is about gate 7 and, the skills, talents and experiences you've already mastered that form the bedrock of your business success. This is something that it can be like a comfort zone, okay? So your consistency key shows you how to leverage what you've already perfected to create sustainable income streams and build unshakable confidence in your value. Now, hers in line 7 relies on community recognition for strength. It's often called the role of the self or the army, and it's really about democratic leadership. Okay? So they're a really good support to, a bigger leader, and it can work very well in relation to that channel 31. And interestingly, it seems that Travis Kelce has the 31, and they can really have a lot of influence here. Because without the 31, people with gate 7, they're natural leaders, but they're not necessarily front and centre as a public figurehead, because it's the 31 which gives them the voice and the stature to reach the masses. And that's what seems to have happened here with the Life of a Showgirl. She's got Travis on board, and it's like she can step into even bigger moments because there's tremendous power to really condition others with the 31 and the 7. Now, the last cash flow key, which is about contribution key, and we talk about this too in the last success code with prosperity a little bit as well. But this key shapes how you create scalable, profitable offers and expand your business in alignment with your purpose. Your contribution key reveals how you scale your income and brand leveraging your natural talents for maximum impact. It's your blueprint for attracting wealth while serving your highest calling. And Taylor's is once again in gate 52, stillness, the mountain. So this is a big part of her chart. It's also her conscious moon, which is her emotional drive and focus, which isn't one of the success codes or cash flow keys, but it's in her design. So we do look to where we're seeing multiple instances of gates because it's going to really flavour this person's life and reaching their potential, and particularly their brand too. So this gate for her life and business cannot be overlooked. So now that we have Taylor Swift's profit code outlined with those 6 cash flow keys, we can arrive at her prosperity code, which is the 6th success code in the Human Design Success Codes. And the prosperity code is the culmination of your path, program, personality, power, and profit codes all together. Because when you understand and harness your Human Design Success Codes, you're going to be able to embrace your authentic energy, activate your profit potential, tap into your gifts, desires, and being able to create that kind of momentum that attracts opportunities, more clients and abundance more effortlessly and without burnout. Your prosperity code is where you have that intersection of service, your desires, where you are more called, all of your purpose, profiting from your purpose. Your prosperity code is that beautiful intersection of service, abundance, material reward, and alignment with your purpose. When we bring all of those together, that's when we're truly prosperous, right? Most of us are not here just to make money for making money's sake. Yes, material abundance is important, but not at the expense of our energy, our health, our well-being, our happiness. In order for us to be truly prosperous, in order for us to step into our prosperity, we need to also harness our purpose and integrate that with our business. And that's where a lot of us are going wrong because we're following other people's purposeful paths, or modeling what's worked for others and ignoring what's deep inside us, right? No one's really talking to the skills. It's just like, you should have this and you should do this. But if Taylor Swift followed, everybody else's blueprint in the music industry, she wouldn't be at the pinnacle that she is now, because you can really see how she has embraced elements of those success codes to just reach a whole new level and seems to really be enjoying it too, right? Things are working in her life as well as her material abundance and her beautiful brand and the impact that it's making on the world. So your prosperity code is really about sharing your genius in service while feeling completely at home with yourself, right? Creating that abundance, joy, material success with less resistance and effort. This is your energetic success advantage. When you embrace and activate your success codes, your prosperity code naturally activates too. So when you embrace and activate the previous 5 success codes that come before the prosperity code, then your prosperity code naturally activates too. No force required. And Taylor Swift's prosperity code is all about prosperity through responsible leadership. This is where money and resources flow to her when she uses her power responsibly and focuses on uplifting others rather than worrying about her own success. Her own success comes from uplifting others. So if you think about how that has come into play in recent years, the Eras Tour is the best example of this. She is using her power responsibly because she is attracting a large community of these Swifties, a lot of demand and engagement and excitement about her value, what she's here to share and her purpose in the world, bringing people together to get an amazing experience and outcome and value from what she's sharing. And this is what we need to keep in mind in our own business too. But Taylor needs to ensure she focuses on others to make this continue to work for her. So she needs to be vigilant about using her influence to lift others up and not just focus on her own success. This energy is about true power that empowers rather than controls others. And its greatest gift is the ability to balance leadership and compassion, creating not just prosperity for herself, but for everyone around her. And that means the more she's focused on her followers, listeners, and community of ever-growing Swifties, It will only serve to propel her personal brand and material success even further. So then we come to the culmination of all 6 human design success codes. We did talk about the 6 cash flow keys too, but when we look at all of the human design success codes, we arrive at your solution, or Taylor Swift's solution. And what is her solution? What is that energetic success advantage that is encapsulated in a magnetic offering? Well, it's using her influence to empower others, where recognition brings influential leadership that empowers people through strategic storytelling and trust-driven marketing that builds fellowship amongst those wishing to evolve from a place of struggle towards a new evolution, right? Like, that's really the North Star of what she's here to do, how she's here to create prosperity and create an amazing, compelling, engaging personal brand, magnetic message, and high-frequency offer. It all needs to align with her solution. Influential leadership empowers people through strategic storytelling and trust-driven marketing. The building the fellowship is the result of that. Allowing her inspiring her audience to move through struggle and evolve, following her own struggles and evolution. So what we see when we step through Taylor's 6 success codes is where she's aligned and can continue to align in order to exponentially grow her personal brand, and how she's done that so beautifully over the last decade. From hashtag Taylor Swift is over party being the #1 trending hashtag to one of the most successful and loved artists of all time and one of the most valuable personal brands in the world right now. And we can all learn from those. Sure, world domination may not be on your doorstep right now, but it wasn't on hers in the beginning either. It's just so amazing to be able to see how an understanding and awareness of these influences and a path to be able to embrace them and integrate them into your own branding, messaging, and offers can create and propel a lot more success with a lot less effort. So your human design success codes lay out your solution. This is where you embody your highest calling in business. Build a brand that resonates with those you are designed to impact. You create offers that serve at a level that transforms both you and your clients. And you can build lasting prosperity and profit from your purpose. Because when you're in alignment with your success codes, your audience naturally recognizes you. Your clients invite you. Your results multiply and your burnout drops. So if this Taylor Swift inspired decoding resonates, it's time to unlock your own energetic success blueprint and find your solution using these human design success codes. Your first step is to head to victoriagibson.com. Grab your free Human Design Energy Guide, which gives you a detailed explanation about your human design. How it can fuel your profitable purpose too. And if you're ready for guided transformation through these success codes to find your own solution, the 6 V's path is here. Spots are open now. You can DM me on Instagram at @IamVictoriaGibson or visit victoriagibson.com. Click on the Watch the Free Training tab at the top of the site and find out more about how you can understand and apply your own codes for income leaps, for quantum success leaps in business. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining me on this episode. If you want to dive deeper and get the practical path to leverage your human design and turn energy blocks into business breakthroughs, then you're going to want to see my latest class. Make sure you head to victoriagibson.com and click on the Watch the Class tab, and you can uncover more about what is encoded within your energetic blueprint and how you can harness it for unlimited success and to step into your true potential. I cannot wait to see you over there.